Welcome to Kero BookPod. Today, we're diving into Atomic Habits by James Clear, a best-selling book that reveals how small, everyday habits can lead to extraordinary results. Want to transform your life with powerful changes? This book has the blueprint. Now let's explore how tiny habits can create big results.
Okay, so who hasn't wished for a cheat code to unlock their best self? You know, just good habits effortlessly falling into place.
Yeah,
No more struggling. Well, this deep dive into James Clear's Atomic Habits, it might just be the next best thing. We're gonna unpack how those tiny changes you make can snowball into major results. And trust me, this isn't your average self-help fluff piece. We're all about giving you actual strategies to put to work.
right, like tangible takeaway.
Exactly. Now I totally get it. Even the best book can feel kind of daunting, right?
Yeah.
So think of this deep dive as your fast track to the juiciest, most useful insights from Atomic Habits.
Yeah, cut through the noise.
Yes, exactly. And to help us break it all down, I've got our expert here ready to add their wisdom.
Hello there.
So what I find really compelling about Clear's approach is it's not just some theory he's throwing at us, he's actually walked the walk. He's used these strategies to overcome some pretty serious challenges in his own life.
Yeah, I think what makes Clear's work stand out is it's grounded in his own experiences. Like, he doesn't just preach this stuff, he lives it. And one of the things that he's very open about is this major accident he had early in life.
Yeah, that really makes it relatable.
It does, because it makes you realize, okay, this isn't just some self-help guru on a mountaintop.
Yeah.
This is someone who's been through it, come out the other side and said, hey, this is what worked for me.
Right. He doesn't just talk the talk.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack one of the core ideas here, the 1% rule. It sounds almost too simple, but the impact is mind-blowing once you actually grasp it.
It's all about compounding.
Yeah.
And compounding isn't just this abstract financial term. It applies to so many areas of life.
Yeah, it's not just about money.
Right? Think about learning a new language, or picking up an instrument, or even building relationships. It's those small, consistent efforts over time that yield those exponential results.
It's like that saying, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not always about those big overnight transformations. It's those little by little improvements that really add up over time. And that's where those systems come in.
Clear uses this analogy in the book, and it's seriously stuck with me. Imagine getting just 1% better each day for a whole year.
Yeah.
What would that actually look like?
It's not just 365% better at the end of the year.
Right.
You'd actually be 37 times better.
That's wild.
Isn't that incredible? And that's the power of consistency. Small changes, but they build on themselves.
Then this is where Clear kind of throws us a curveball, because we're always told goals are everything.
Right.
Aim high, shoot for the stars. But Clear's like, hold on a second, not so fast.
He flips the script on us a little bit.
Yeah.
He says, look, winners and losers, they often have the same goals.
It's true.
What sets them apart
Yeah.
is the systems they have in place.
Yeah, it's not enough to just be like, I want to write a novel, or I want to be fluent in Spanish.
Right. You need a system that actually supports that ambition.
And that's what I really connected with, because a lot of people, I'm all about those big goals, but keeping them going, that's the hard part.
Yeah, staying motivated is tough.
It is. It's like I am on this motivation treadmill going nowhere fast. But Clear says a well-designed system, that's where it's at. That makes the good choices almost automatic, even when you're not feeling motivated.
Yeah, motivation comes and goes, but a system, that's what keeps you consistent.
It's like you're setting yourself up for success.
Exactly. You're basically designing an environment where those good choices are the easiest choices.
Love that. So speaking of systems, Clear introduces this idea of the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying.
Catchy, right?
Yeah, it's like a recipe for upgrading your habits. And I know the book goes super deep into each of those laws, but for our listeners who are all about maximizing their time, what are some key takeaways about putting these laws into action?
Let's see. One tool that I found really helpful is the habit scorecard.
The habit scorecard. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more.
So it's all about bringing awareness to your habits.
Yeah.
Before you can change a habit, you got to know it exists.
Right. It's like you can't fix what you don't acknowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with the habit scorecard, you're basically taking inventory of your daily routines. You list out all your habits, and then you categorize them: good, bad, or neutral.
So you're asking yourself, is this habit helping me become the person I want to be?
Yes. And here's where it gets interesting. Don't just focus on the obviously bad habits. Sometimes those seemingly positive habits even those can hold you back if they're not aligned with your goals.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like spending hours on social media might seem harmless enough. But if your goal is to write a book, well, it might be something to look at.
Yeah, it's about being really intentional with your time and your energy.
Exactly. It's about making sure your habits are actually serving you.
It's like being the curator of your own habits. That's kind of cool.
And what I love about Atomic Habits is that Clear backs up these ideas with some fascinating research. Like he talks about this hand washing study.
Oh yeah, that one was really interesting.
So simply providing soap in a community wasn't enough to get people to wash their hands more frequently.
Right, just having it available wasn't enough.
No. But when researchers introduced a soap that lathered really well, smelled amazing, basically made hand washing a more enjoyable experience.
They made it appealing.
Yes. Hand washing rates went way up, and the community saw a significant drop in illness.
It's like sometimes it's not about willpower, it's about making the desired behavior more enticing.
Exactly. It's about understanding human psychology. We're more likely to stick with things we enjoy.
It's like that Mary Poppins song, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Exactly. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and you're more likely to stick with it.
So we've got this amazing framework from Atomic Habits, but I know our listeners are probably itching for some tangible tips they can put into practice today. So what are some of Clear's most tactical strategies that our listeners can put into practice right away, today, even if they haven't gotten around to reading the book yet?
Okay, so let's dive into a few that are super actionable. First up, we have habit stacking.
Habit stacking.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think I've heard of this one, but remind me how it works again.
So it's all about using your existing habits to your advantage. Instead of trying to create this whole new habit from scratch, you basically attach it to something you're already doing consistently.
So if I'm already in the habit of making my morning coffee, I could stack a new habit on top of that.
Yes. So it could be something like, after I make my coffee, I'm going to spend 5 minutes journaling. Or after I brush my teeth, I'll do a quick meditation.
So it's your brain's already wired for that first habit, and then it's oh, hey, let's just tack this other thing on while we're at it.
Exactly. It makes it way more likely that you'll actually follow through because you're not relying on willpower alone. You're using the momentum of that existing routine.
It's like building a routine power hour, but gradually.
I love that.
Oh.
Okay, so another strategy that's super effective is something called implementation intentions.
Implementation intentions. Ooh, that sounds intense.
It's actually simpler than it sounds. It's basically about removing the guesswork from your habits. So instead of having this vague intention like, oh, I should really work out more.
We've all been there.
Right. You get super specific about when and where it's going to happen.
Okay, so it's less, I should go for a run sometime this week, and more like, I'm going for a 20-minute run on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. in the park.
Exactly. You've made the decision ahead of time, so you're not faced with that decision fatigue in the moment.
No more excuses.
Exactly. And finally, one of my all-time favorites is the 2-minute rule.
The 2-minute rule. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
This is like your secret weapon against procrastination. Basically, you take any habit that seems daunting and you break it down into a ridiculously easy 2-minute starting point.
So instead of, I'm going to write a whole chapter of my novel tonight, it's, I'm going to sit down and write for 2 minutes.
Yes. And here's the crazy thing. Most of the time, those 2 minutes are all you need to get the ball rolling. Once you've overcome that initial inertia, you're much more likely to keep going.
It's like tricking your brain into thinking, oh, this isn't so bad after all.
Exactly. And then before you know it, you're on a roll.
I love these. These are seriously good, actionable tips. I can already see myself leveling up my habit game. As we kind of wrap up this deep dive into Atomic Habits, is there one final thought-provoking nugget that our listeners can take away and kind of chew on?
You know, one concept that really resonated with me is this idea of the Goldilocks rule. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, the Goldilocks rule. It's like finding that sweet spot, right?
Exactly. It's the idea that we're most motivated when we're working on tasks that are just slightly outside of our comfort zone.
Too easy and we get bored. Too hard and we just want to give up.
Right. It's about finding that balance, that challenge that keeps you engaged without being overwhelming.
Love it. So find your Goldilocks zone, everyone.
And remember, building better habits. It's a journey, not a destination. There's no finish line.
It's all about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. Be kind to yourself. Experiment with these strategies and celebrate those small wins along the way.
This deep dive has given you the knowledge and some great tools to get started. So until next time, happy habit building, everyone.
That's it for Atomic Habits. Remember, small habits lead to big change. Ask yourself, what's one habit you can build today that will make your future self proud? Subscribe for more insights and keep moving toward your best self. Bye.